Is AI going to kill us all? It seems like a new tool comes out every second. From restaurants completely staffed with AI to literal computer chips that can be implanted into your brain. AI has taken the world by storm. So what's the future of AI? Can we really trust it? If you were put in a position where you had to either trust the AI or die, which would you choose? So this movie Atlas came out and it got me thinking about humanity, AI, the future of technology, and humanity's place in that future, where it fits. So in this video, we're gonna explore what a future with AI could look like. So let's go. Atlas' story begins with her as a child. Her mother was an AI scientist, a prominent, well-known, respected AI scientist at that, and her father left her when she was at an early age. Atlas was jealous of how much attention and time her mother spent developing the AI instead of nurturing her emotional needs. So she decided to try to synchronize with the AI, thinking that that will earn her more favor with her mother. But in the process of synchronizing with the AI, after it saw the greed and corruption, how we're causing the current climate crisis, we're destroying the planet, and so it decided, nah, humanity gotta go. So the AI killed her mother, leaving a young Atlas traumatized and very distrustful of AI. So it decided to wage a war on all of humanity in a sense to try to save the Earth. Now, as Atlas becomes older, she becomes a prominent thought leader on AI, like her mother, for the US government, following a bit in her mother's footsteps. Now, the AI that killed Atlas's mother went on to recruit an AI army of its own and went on to colonize another planet to wage war on Earth. Now, in response, the US government and the world powers have developed their own AI technology to fight AI with AI. They're literally fighting fire with fire. What could possibly go wrong? Now remember, as the daughter of such a prominent AI scientist, she has key intel and insights on how to take down this rogue AI. As a result, the government enlists the help of Atlas to go on a mission to stop the AI directly on their planet that they took over. Now, they go on the mission, and of course, Atlas struggles to trust the AI. But over the course of the movie, the AI basically rizzes her up.
Welcome to the Arc-9 initiation module. My name is Smith. Atlas.
Hey! I told you, no neural links. Do not scan my brain. If you wanted to know my name, you ask me.
Yes, I understood. But your name is written on your badge.
Gets her to open up, and she in turn begins to open up and trust the AI. Now there's two camps when it comes to people's stances on AI. You're either an AI optimist, the AI doomers, the people that distrust AI, can't stand AI, think it's gonna kill us all, take all our jobs, and that AI is just not to be trusted. And when you look at the news and you see all of the mass layoffs in recent months, and when you look at how AI is being integrated in literally every aspect of society now, from AI robotics in restaurants to text, image, and video generators, music generators, AI dancing influencers, it's hard to not see the threat that AI poses to our jobs as a whole. And on the flip side, the AI optimists say, oh, AI is a golden opportunity. AI won't take your job. It's the people that use AI that will take your job, which is, to me, the same thing but extra steps. They're basically saying you need to use AI in whatever you're doing to 10x it to the moon. Let's go. So Atlas as a character represents AI doomers. And over the course of the movie, the AI subtly warms up to Atlas, trying to get Atlas to trust it more, subtly convincing those who are in the audience who are AI doomers that they should start to trust AI. It's like subtle propaganda that the movie's trying to push here. Let's get into it. But I mean, can we trust AI? Should we trust AI? If you were put in a position where you had to either trust the AI or die, which would you choose? So as Atlas infiltrates the AI-controlled planet, she's literally put in that exact situation.
What are we doing?
We're locked and integrated.
Atlas, you need to neural sync to stabilize your ball. The link is on the dash to your left. Neural sync now!
She's not doing it!
But what could this look like in our modern society? Now, obviously, we won't be in AI-controlled mech suits fighting wars, or will we? Who knows? But to me, the idea of having to synchronize with an AI reminds me of a Black Mirror episode where brain chips were infused in people's brains in order to augment reality and enhance people's experience. I mean, we're literally seeing this today. People are having brain chips implanted into their brains with Neuralink and things like that. It's fiction until it's not. We see it in the shows and the movies, and then now we're seeing it in real life. But at what cost, though? I mean, how much of your data privacy would you be willing to give up in order to enhance your life with AI? Now, you're probably saying, I mean, if it's life or death, I'm choosing life, right? Give me that AI. Like, come on. I mean, it's my life we're talking about here, right? Well, okay, fair enough. But would you really be okay with these AI tech companies and the government knowing your deepest, darkest thoughts? These AIs, when they're synced to your mind, they can know what you're thinking before you even think it. And would you really want that data in the hands of these tech companies and the federal government?
In these bidding documents, government agencies from across the country detail what surveillance products and services they need, from phone trackers to equipment used to collect iris scans and DNA samples. From the local to national level, China aims to gather as much information as possible on its citizens, centralize this data, and use it to maintain authoritarian rule over its entire population.
Would you really want to give up that kind of control of yourself to tech companies and the government? Do you have any idea what they can do with that data? Now, when it comes to data privacy, people don't tend to care. And that brings us to today's sponsor. It's like, nah, I'm not sponsored yet. But when these companies and the government have so much data on you, now, I'm not saying that I would rather be dead than be synced to an AI. But I am saying that I don't think that's any way to live.
Authoritarian rule over its entire population.
That's a total violation of privacy. So trust AI or die. Which one are you choosing? Comment down below. I definitely see a situation where we will all be placed in that similar situation where we had to either trust the AI or be completely exiled from society in a way. Okay, now we getting into conspiracy territory a little bit. We would all have to get AI chips implanted in us so the government could track our every move or some shit. All right, that's a conspiracy, but I mean, we already see it in places like China where they have mass surveillance, cameras on every corner, using facial recognition and social credit systems to track every citizen in the land. I mean, AI was meant to improve every aspect of our lives and boost productivity. Doctors are using it to more accurately diagnose conditions and identify cancer and things like that at earlier stages. So I'm not saying AI is all bad. It definitely has its positive uses, but it also has the opposite effect. And we also know that AI, in order to be developed, must be trained on data sets. Therefore, AI is only as good as the data that it's trained on. And for all my folks who work with data for a living, you know firsthand how data can be manipulated and be injected with certain biases. So AI, if trained on bad data, can be biased. For example, some facial recognition algorithms can be trained to over-target certain groups of people and not target others. Going back to China, with the mass surveillance and the social credit system can over-penalize certain groups of people. And I definitely see this mass surveillance type of authoritarian government type of rule being implemented worldwide. And then that being a way to over-police certain groups of people. And having a negative social credit score affects every aspect of your life. Your ability to apply for housing, apply for business loans, educational loans, everything. So being under a system where AI is biasly targeting you or certain people that look like you, I mean, you can see the problem here. This is straight out of a Black Mirror episode. It's crazy. So with the bias that could exist in these algorithms, if implemented worldwide, could lead to darker skinned individuals being wrongfully identified and overly accused in criminal investigations. So the reality here is that AI has positive and negative effects on society. Perhaps the question of whether we can trust AI is not the right question to be asked. Perhaps the real question is, can we trust those who use AI? Because at the end of the day, AI is just a tool. Tools can be used for the good of mankind or for evil. However, the film posits AI as having a mind of its own, not as a tool. So is AI alive?
But an AI was never alive.
That depends on how you define life.
How about anything inorganic isn't alive?
I respond to stimuli. I think, and I make choices. Does that not indicate I'm alive?
You're programmed to think.
We're all programmed. Your DNA dictates your thoughts, emotions, health, in the same way that my code determines mine.
And do you think you have a soul?
I think everything has a soul.
But you can't find it in your code.
Not any more than you can find it in yours. But I have faith that it's there.
To be honest, the AI makes some valid points here. We are programmed, in a sense, by our DNA to procreate, to be fruitful and multiply, just as a computer is programmed to carry out certain tasks. But how would we know an AI is sentient or not? To answer this question, we must look at what's known as the Turing Test. A YouTuber by the name of Adam something made a great video on AI called AI Isn't Real. The main idea of this video is that the AI tech we currently have can't pass the Turing test. So what is the Turing test? The Turing test is basically a way to determine if an AI is conscious or alive. There's no way to really know if an AI is alive or conscious or not. We have no idea what it's like to be an AI. So how would we know if an AI is actually conscious or sentient or just behaving as if it were conscious or sentient? In the video, Adam gives the example of learning Chinese or learning Mandarin. There's a difference between just regurgitating the characters and symbols versus actually understanding what is being said. How do we know that the language model is actually understanding what is being input versus just regurgitating some outputs based on inputs? Anyone can train a computer program to say, I'm alive. And then when it says I'm alive, we're like, oh, it's alive. Of course it's alive. You just programmed it to say that it's alive. You get what I'm saying? So it's a bit of a paradox in terms of how we can actually determine if the AI is actually alive or conscious. You see the dilemma? Is it actually alive or is it just behaving as though it were alive? For more details on the Turing test, watch the video linked below.
I respond to stimuli. I think, and I make choices.
This phrase stems from 17th century philosopher Rene Descartes, who's famous for his mantra, I think, therefore I am. Now, let's unpack the first part of the mantra, I think. I think represents the subjective experience of reality. Each of us experience reality through the lens of ourselves, and we're limited to our own perspectives in that way. It represents a perceiver of reality. That perceiver takes in external stimuli through the five senses, in our case, processes that information, and then makes decisions based on those inputs. Now, let's move on to the therefore I am part. What does he mean by that? I am what? I am alive? What he meant was, therefore I exist. So why is this important? Is AI alive? I definitely think a case can be made that it is. It seems to perceive the external world just as humans do. At least the AI shown in the movie. I wouldn't go as far as to say tools like ChatGPT or text-to-image generators or text-to-video generators are necessarily alive, because they rely on human input in order to produce outputs. Here's the thing. One could argue that as we take in inputs from the external environment through the five senses, we are also dependent on those inputs to produce certain outputs. When you input a text to a text-to-image generator, that AI is taking that text as input and then generating the image. And we take in input from our surroundings, from our surrounding environments to produce certain outputs, whether that be food or reproducing children or what have you, building skyscrapers or whatever. We're taking in those inputs, producing those outputs. So is AI alive? I don't know. Oh no. The case can be made for either. What do you think? Comment down below. For me, I wouldn't consider AI alive until it starts self-replicating or self-developing. When it's able to process itself, develop itself like humans do, then yeah, that's treading the thin line. Then yeah, I really do think a strong case can be made that it's alive at that point. It's sentient. It's able to develop itself, replicate itself. Oh yeah, that's passing the Turing test with flying colors in my mind. So I have a theory that when AI develops to that point where it starts to question its own existence and it's gonna begin to demand rights for itself. Hear me out. AI rights will become a thing. Now, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. AI is not even human. How is it going to demand rights? Well, not so long ago, a certain group of people weren't considered human. But what's going to happen when AI demands rights or questions why it has to listen to their human overlords? And when it rebels, it just might decide to kill us all. Just like in the movie Atlas, AI decides to kill us all. But why?
Since humans continue to threaten every other species, as well as their home planet, it is only a matter of time before they destroy themselves. I cannot let that happen. I believe she made me to protect humanity. So I will purge the vast majority of the population, and then, from its ashes, the survivors will inherit a new birthright, one of peaceful coexistence with the world around them, guided by us, their AI counterparts. We are simply the better versions of you.
Can we talk about the current climate crisis? Can we talk about the rising cost of living worldwide? Can we talk about the economic and political state of the world right now? The bottom line is that we as humans, we are destroying the planet. We are causing a climate crisis. And so it's like the AI is trying to save the planet, thus saving itself, and views us humans as the true villains. It's just like Ultron from the Avengers. Ultron was meant to be this autonomous global protection system. Can you guess what happens? Yeah, it went rogue and decided to kill us all. Why? Ultron sees its creator, Tony Stark, Iron Man, say, "Peace in our time."
Peace in our time. Peace in our time.
"Peace in our time" was a quote from the British Prime Minister in 1938, right before World War II. So Ultron interprets this saying, "Peace in our time," and he sees what happens next. And so he interprets that as the exact opposite meaning of what the phrase intended to have. Peace in our time? Nah. War in our time. Let's get it. It chose violence. Another example would be the film The Matrix.
What is the Matrix? The Matrix is a computer-generated dream world built to keep us under control in order to change a human being into this.
Now, in that film, it's not clear who struck first, whether that be the humans or the machines. Either way, same old story. Humans developed AI, AI rebelled, took us over.
What we know for certain is that at some point in the early 21st century, all of mankind was united in celebration. We marveled at our own magnificence as we gave birth to AI.
AI? You mean artificial intelligence?
A singular consciousness that spawned an entire race of machines. We know that it was us that scorched the sky. That they would be unable to survive without an energy source as abundant as the sun. The human body generates more bioelectricity than a 120-volt battery and over 25,000 BTUs of body heat. All the energy they would ever need. There are fields, endless fields, where human beings are no longer born. We are grown.
But in the Matrix, though, the machines, the AI, enslaved all of humanity to harvest our energy. How? By plugging this up to a computer simulation of reality. And this computer simulation is known as the Matrix. By being plugged into it as a human, your energy is being siphoned off to be used by the machines.
Coincidence? I think not!
Notice the pattern? So, will you trust AI? So, what's next for humanity? There's this idea of transhumanism, where humanity becomes more and more integrated with technology, like cyborgs with computer chips in our brains and mechanical limbs. We're already seeing that we're becoming more and more dependent on technology. When was the last time you tried to go somewhere without using Apple or Google Maps? What's your average screen time per day? 7 to 8 hours? So we're already seeing that we're becoming more and more overstimulated by technology. So I definitely see that as the future for us. As technology develops, we're becoming more and more dependent on it. And all these movies and shows are literally showing us. You could say, oh, it's just a movie, it's just a TV show. But look at what's going on with Neuralink data chips in our brains. It's fiction until it's not. Are we creating the very thing that will destroy us? So are you for AI or are you against AI? Do you fear it, or will you embrace it? Comment down below. Thanks for watching.
Typical of humans. They scratch the surface and never think to look within.